crying, screaming, fighting. Things got wild. It was like something straight out of a movie. What would you do if a homeless person was let into your house to live with you and on top of that stayed in your room? Well, that's exactly what happened to me when I was about 10 or 11 years old. At the time, I didn't understand why my mother did what she did. Honestly, it didn't make any sense at all. But years later, I realized that moment held one of the most powerful lessons I've ever learned in my life. I know you may be thinking, ain't no lesson in that. That was just crazy. But keep watching because by the end of the story, you'll see exactly what I mean. My mother had to go to court one day here in New Jersey, and while she was there, she stopped at a little coffee shop. Just a quick stop that turned into something life-changing. That's where she met a woman named Bonnie. Now, I don't know what conversation they had, but by the time my mom left that coffee shop, she had decided to bring Bonnie home with her. Yes, a complete stranger, a homeless lady. She even called my dad ahead of time to tell him, so when she walked through the door with Bonnie that day, we were already on alert. We didn't know what to expect. I mean, when you hear homeless lady, your imagination goes straight to what you see on TV. Someone unkept, dirty, stinky, maybe even holding a cardboard sign. But when Bonnie walked in, she was a snatched, older white lady for her age. In the early 90s, she had on a long fur coat, her hair was brushed, her clothes were clean. She didn't look like any homeless woman we had ever pictured. As a matter of fact, thinking back now, she looked like she came from money. Now here she is with this black family living under HUD in the hood. That first night, we all sat at the dinner table watching her eat out the corner of our eyes. We were expecting her to eat fast, like she hadn't eaten in days, because she was homeless, right? But instead, she ate calmly, slowly, like she had done it 1,000 times before. And that night, my mother told her that she would be sleeping in my room. I always had one of my cousins or one of my friends sleep over on the weekend, so I had a bunk bed, and Bonnie slept on my top bunk. I don't even remember how I felt falling asleep that night with a stranger above me. Maybe I was nervous, maybe I didn't fully understand what was happening, but I'm still here to tell the story, so thank God for that. By the next afternoon, Bonnie was acting like she had lived with us for years. I came home from school and she wanted to check my homework. Now, I was a straight A student and I did not need anybody checking my homework. I remember thinking, who does this lady think she is? Because I know who she's not. My brothers thought it was hilarious, but Bonnie was dead serious. She eased herself right into our routine. Over those few days, she felt like she was part of the family. It was strange, but in a weird way, it became our new normal. But then one day, Bonnie made a phone call. I think she called her daughter just to let her know where she was, and that phone call changed everything. Her daughter asked to speak to my mother, and I still remember what she said through the phone. She told my mother she doesn't need to stay there with you. She's fine, just take her back to the hotel. That's when we found out Bonnie wasn't homeless. She lived in a hotel, hence she didn't have a home. So after a few days, my mother told her, Bonnie, it's time to go back now. And that's when things got wild. I remember like it was yesterday. I don't know why I didn't go to school that day, but I remember being the only one home with my mother and Bonnie. When my mother opened the door to go to the car to take Bonnie back to the hotel, Bonnie refused to leave. She held onto the wall with all her strength. My mother physically pulled her, trying to get her out the door. I was standing there holding the screen door open like, what is happening right now? It was like something straight out of a movie. Bonnie was crying, screaming, fighting to stay, and I remember feeling torn. Part of me felt bad for her, but another part was ready for her to go. Looking back, I understand why she didn't want to leave. She wasn't fighting for shelter. She was fighting for the feeling she had inside it. Because for those few days, she wasn't just a woman living in a hotel. She was part of a family. And maybe, just maybe, that was something she hadn't felt in a long time. See, my mother wasn't perfect. She was fighting her own battles. She struggled with addiction, with choices that didn't always make sense. But underneath all of that, she did have a big heart. She didn't let fear dictate her actions. Even when she had little, she gave. Even when life wasn't perfect, she opened her door anyway. And now I understand why that moment stayed with me all these years. Because in that single act, inviting a stranger into our home, my mother showed me something powerful. That giving doesn't always come from abundance. Sometimes it comes from faith. It's not about what we have, it's about what we're willing to share. She gave without fear, without expecting anything in return, and somehow we always had enough. That's when Proverbs 11:24 came to life for me. One gives freely, yet gains even more. Another one withholds what he should give and comes to poverty. That's exactly what my mother did. She gave freely. She gave love, safety, and belonging to someone who needed it most. And because of it, she gained even more. I don't know if Bonnie is alive today or if she will remember that short time she spent with us, but I know we'll never forget her, because what happened in that townhouse taught me something that changed how I see the world forever. If this story touched you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you love stories that make you think, grow, and see life differently, subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this one. Because sometimes the biggest lessons don't come wrapped in perfection. They come through moments that make you stop, look back, and realize that love and the courage to give it is what makes us rich. I'll see you in the next video.